How's it going, everyone? It's Sam. You know those videos where they do something so you don't have to, right? Like they try something so that you don't have to. Well, this is one of those videos. Today I'm talking about stimulus and the problem with stimulus videos. I went through Meet Kevin's whole channel and went through every single video, adding up the number of minutes that he's talked about stimulus. I want to walk you through this because I think it's really interesting when you get down to it and talk about how much time some people have spent on stimulus. And I think we can talk about this in other forms of our life too, which I'll get to. But first of all, I just want to say this is nothing against Kevin. Meet Kevin specifically. This isn't against any of the other stimulus people. The way I view it is people are watching these videos. People want to see it. It has helped some people. Like I got an EIDL grant for $1,000 that I probably wouldn't have heard about if I didn't know about Meet Kevin, or maybe I would have heard about it somewhere down the line, but there's no way of knowing exactly. However, there are so many videos out there on stimulus and most of them are irrelevant. Like I could have watched the one video on EIDL and that gave me my $1,000. It told me what to do. And I'll also say that's kind of how I started on YouTube. I had done videos before on finance and on stocks, but people didn't really care about that. Then I started to gain some traction from a couple stimulus videos. And that's where I started to, get a little bit of a footing on YouTube. So there's a soft spot in my heart for these types of videos. What I did was I started on Meet Kevin's channel. I started with the newest videos and I went back from there. Now I'm very far into these stimulus check videos here, and at some point I lost track of time. I was just going through every one of these. I would start here, go all the way through everything that said stimulus just in the words I could see, right? So the titles are longer than what we actually see here, but anytime it said stimulus, I put it into a spreadsheet. Anytime that said $1,200 or $400, there's always stimulus after that. So I would put it in the spreadsheet, and I just went through systematically. It took me 40 minutes to go through all of these. And honestly, the results are pretty interesting. One thing that is not a waste of time, I think, is liking this video. If you guys don't mind doing that, I really appreciate it. This video probably won't get very many likes because it's not in a specific stock. It's not in some kind of growth sector. But I think it's something to keep in mind just in our daily lives, right? So looking through, I added all of these. I added the number of minutes. Some of these were live streams. A couple of them were long, like an hour or two. But most of them, almost all of them, were between 4 minutes and 18 minutes, 22 minutes. You can see I spent 40 minutes, like I said, just going through it. How many videos? Tell me how many videos you guys think Meet Kevin's done on stimulus. And again, these are just the ones that had stimulus right in the first half of the title. So there are so many of them. If we keep on going here, we get down to about 614 videos on stimulus. This blew my mind. I mean, stimulus has been a trending topic on YouTube, I think, for maybe 10 months. Meet Kevin is doing maybe one in every 2 or one every 3 videos on stimulus now. He's cut down a lot, but for a while there, I could see 5 across and 3 down. About 13 out of every 15 videos was stimulus. But again, I don't fault him for doing this. I mean, he's providing for his family. There's obviously a need for stimulus content out there, or there was. If someone told you at your day job, okay, you can just sit here and do the same thing and I'll pay you 3 or 4 times as much, most people would do it, right? Especially if it's pretty easy and stimulus content is just updating people on the news. Now, overall, after I added all these minutes, and of course I could have missed 1 or 2 videos, especially because of the wording on the videos, 8,032 minutes was the total for all the stimulus content from Kevin. And I actually thought about this from Graham Stephan in his recent podcast. He said that it would be interesting to take a look at this. So if you guys are watching this and you want to go over to his iced coffee hour, tell him to take a look at this video because I broke it down for him. So over 8,000 minutes, which is almost 134 hours of stimulus content. This does not include any ads. So I pay for YouTube Premium, so I don't actually see ads, but most people don't. So you'd have to include some extra time in there for ads and loading and stuff like that. But you can say, let's say 134 hours. Well, let's say this paid you $3,400, 2 stimulus checks, I believe it was, both I think were $1,200. There's the $1,000 EIDL, so that would give you an hourly wage of about $25.40. However, all of us would have gotten the stimulus checks whether we watch these videos or not. You didn't have to go apply for them or anything like that. You just got them. So if you're doing it just off the EIDL, let's say you didn't get a PPP grant or anything else, but you got an EIDL at least, which was $1,000. That would pay you about $7.50. Now, this is not a great hourly wage. I believe it's below the minimum here in America. In addition to that, if you had just gotten $20 an hour for this 134 hours, assuming you could pick up hours somewhere, you would have gotten about $2,700. This compounded at about 8% for 30 years is about $27,000. So what does this teach us? Well, I think it teaches us that even when we think we're doing something that is going to be beneficial, it's not always the case. Like, we have to keep track of our time, I think a lot of us think we're doing something that's good, but when you break it down, it doesn't make a lot of sense. I've heard of people doing this with jobs, right? Where you go work somewhere, but maybe it's an hour away and you're only working for an hour or 2 hours, and then you have to drive back another hour, so your wage is pretty much cut in half. I think a lot of people think that they were making a lot of money or that this was really helping them, and I understand maybe you just like watching Meet Kevin, maybe you just like learning about stimulus or the news or something like that, and I realize some people didn't watch all the videos, but this is something to keep in mind that, especially if you had gotten that EIDL grant and you were just waiting for more stimulus, there wasn't really a point in watching a lot of videos because either you're getting it or you're not. This hopefully won't get roasted too bad, but I think it's important to remember for our daily lives how much we consume versus how much we actually produce. And something that I've really found, whenever I'm being creative, whenever I'm making something, I don't consume as much, right? So whenever I am trying to fill a need in my life, right, I feel like most people either consume or they produce. So that's just something to keep in mind. Of course, there are a lot of factors that come into play, whether you're, stressed or whether, you're already in a situation where you can spend a lot or stuff like that. Everyone's different, but that's what I've found out as time goes on. And I think it keeps us in perspective that, time is limited, so we have to do something good with it. I was actually surprised that Meet Kevin's videos didn't actually add up to more time. 8,000 minutes. Of course, I think it's probably more like 10 to 12 because there just were a lot of videos that I didn't include in here because they didn't have stimulus in the part that I read. Let me know your guys' thoughts on this down below. If you guys want some free money, you can sign up with the link down below to WeBull, deposit $100 and get some free stocks. If you want to know exactly what I'm buying and selling in the stock market, you can check out the link down below to Patreon. Thank you again for hitting the like button and subscribing, maybe sharing this to someone else, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.